Okay, so it's a very special day today. You've been at university for a while, been walking past Aisha for a couple years now, and it's finally the day where you're gonna propose. So you go up to Aisha, you're all pumped up, looking good, smelling good, and you're like, Aisha, will you please be my wife? And she looks at you and she's like, ha! Next day, she marries Abdullah. And you're thinking, what does Abdullah have that I don't? And you go on a quest. You go on a quest online. You want to understand how to be the highest value man you can be and how to pick women better. Next thing you know, you listen to a little Kevin Samuels, a little Rollo Tomasi, and you're saying stuff like this.
A woman's value is only as high as the man that she's with. That's why there's this thing about this myth of a high value woman. What is a high value woman? There's no such thing as a high value woman. A woman's value is equated to the man's value that she's with. But a man's value is not equated to the woman that he's with. A man's value is who he is, what he's done in the world.
Or you hear something that's kind of controversial, but it's kind of in line with what you think, and you react like this.
Another important thing to remember is that women age like milk, while men age like wine. Many women's looks and ability to attract a wealthy, attractive mate decline rapidly as they hit the age of 30. Men's attractiveness often increases with age because they tend to make more money as they age, and often...
That's a fact. Yeah? The fact that when a woman... No. Let's be real. That's a fact. When a woman reaches the age of 30, alarm bells do go off.
There's a lot of similarity between red pill thought / manosphere thought and Islam. And actually just religion, or the Abrahamic religions in general. I think that there are serious differences though. And there's kind of a danger of adopting some of these ideas which are not really in line with Islam. You know, for the non-Muslims out here, if you're a Muslim, you kind of believe that Muhammad, the Prophet, everything he basically said and did was like guided by God, okay? So if he washes his hands 3 times, Muslims are gonna wash their hands 3 times. If he ate with his right hand, Muslims are gonna eat with the right hand, and etc. and so on. So what I wanted to do in this video was talk about the love story between Khadija and Muhammad, and just highlight some of the differences in the conclusions that you can draw versus manosphere thinking. First, there's this idea that women have no inherent value. And just like leaving Khadija aside for a second, like in our tradition, Mary, the mother of Jesus, never had a husband, and she's tremendously valuable. There are so many different conclusions that you can draw. For example, women over 35 are trash because they're past their reproductive time and they can't make babies, and why even bother? But Muhammad's first love was Khadija, and she was 40 years old. So that right there refutes that. Also, the idea that younger women are better. When Muhammad was in his prime, 25 years old, he picked a woman that was 15 years older. So again, there's that disconnect. Point 3, all women want is money. And this is a huge one, because there's this idea of hypergamy, and that women are just out here looking for the best possible mate, and that means the most money and probably the best genes, height over 6'2" or something. But for Khadija and Muhammad, Khadija was the wealthy one, right? She had already been established as a wealthy woman, and actually when it was a point of contention in their marriage, whether or not Muhammad would be okay with Khadija being so self-sufficient. Would he be okay with that? And clearly he was, because they got married. Point 4, men need to initiate. This is another thing that's pretty much implied by the red pill, like you got to shoot your shot as a man. And that's, like, I can't disagree entirely, but in the case of Khadija and Muhammad, Khadija is the one who proposed to Muhammad. So there's that. Number 5, men should lead. This is, I don't know if this is obvious, but Khadija was basically Muhammad's boss. She hired him to, trade her goods on her behalf, and he was paid by her. So she was basically leading, right? That's not to say that she didn't respect Muhammad and let him lead the family, but I mean the power dynamic is there with the money, right? Like, if it was reversed, if a wealthy man employed his wife, I mean, you wouldn't debate that the man is pretty much holding the power in this relationship. Number 6, that virginity is really what matters the most, or it matters a lot. And in the Sunni tradition, Khadija actually had been married in the past, so that wasn't a factor for Muhammad, but he still married her and loved her. You think to yourself, what's the message? Basically, it's about love. It's not about babies. It's not about money. That things like attraction, skills, and reputation matter a lot more. Muhammad caught the eyes of Khadija because, well, he was probably very attractive, number 1, and number 2, he was very good at selling. He doubled her profits, and he also did it without cheating people. So, again, he's getting this reputation of being very trustworthy, Al-Amin they used to call him, and that mattered more in their relationship. I will say though that Islam doesn't say that men and women are equal, and that's kind of something that a lot of Muslim men might find appealing in the red pill ideology, right? So for example, men are stronger physically, right? And that comes with responsibilities. For example, there's a bump in the night. The husband is going to go check that out. If the Titanic sinks, the women and children are getting the lifeboats and the men go down if there's none available. If there's a war, the men are going to get drafted. If it gets to a point where women get drafted, I guarantee men are getting put on the front lines, not women. Because it makes sense, right? The strength difference is there. And same with women, they're able to childbear and they're able to breastfeed. A man cannot compete in that department. And just oftentimes, the connection between the child and the mother is levels stronger than the connection between the child and the father, even if he's a great father. And you know what? There's also some points for women from the story of Muhammad and Khadija. She was his first believer, right? And this is so important because Muhammad thought he was crazy when he got his first revelations, right? So the story goes that Gabriel went to Muhammad and basically embraced him very tightly and told him to recite, and then the first verses of the Quran were revealed. And he, after this encounter, was noticeably shook and went to his wife in a panic and was worried that he had gone crazy. And it was through her reassurance and her love and nurturing nature that he was able to get the confidence to embrace this new chapter of his life. As long as men are getting censored and canceled and stuff like that, I think that the red pill is going to thrive. And let's be real, you and I, we're not prophets. We're not even probably righteous people. So if you think that, women under 30 are more attractive and over 35 don't even bother because you're probably not going to have kids, or that all women want is money, or that men need to initiate, or that men need to lead, and that you need to find a virgin. You can believe that. Yeah, you can believe that, but you can't say that that's Islam.